Hey, quick question. What do these jobs have in common? Accountant, carpenter, beautician, electrician, photographer, graphic artist, interior designer, choreographer, writer, chef, seamstress. They all work in the Oklahoma film industry. And there's a place for you to join the action. Learn more about starting your film career in Oklahoma by visiting okfilmmusic.org/getting started.
Hello, everyone. My name is Yousef Kazemi, and I'm the Outreach and Production Manager for the Oklahoma Film and Music Office. We are thrilled to be a sponsor of this year's deadCenter Film Festival and present to you our Zoom series on Oklahoma film education. Oklahoma has a variety of universities, colleges, tech schools, high schools, and many other organizations offering film education programs and ways to jumpstart your career in Oklahoma's film workforce. We'll be getting to speak with a few representatives from various organizations today, and we're so thankful for their participation, so thank you. And if you like this type of content, we'd love for you to visit our website, okfilmmusic.org. On the Getting Started page of our website, we have much more educational content, including a complete list of all universities and schools, podcast, our pivotal work, YouTube, early access series, much more. Lots of great free content, film education resources for you there. So check that out. Stay connected with us on social media. And again, many thanks to those who participated in today's series. Thank you to deadCenter Film Festival for allowing this platform. And thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoy this session. Hi, how are you? Can you please introduce yourself and tell us what school or organization you're with?
Hello, everyone. I'm Rafael Barreiro. I'm professor at Oral Roberts University.
We're so happy you joined us for our Take 5 with Film Education. Can you tell us a little bit about the history of your school's film or media program and what it offers students?
Certainly. Well, ORU and media goes way back to the beginning of Oral Roberts University. And there was a film program that was pretty strong back in the days of film. However, then, with cost and all that of the price of film, it just kind of fizzled away a bit. But about 7-8 years ago, I came in to revamp and recreate the media area with film. And since then, we've just been dynamite, just producing, all kinds of projects and growing in scale and number of things that we're involved in. Mm-hmm.
That's incredible. And we've seen that across the state and across many schools. We're excited to hear that. How long does it take students at ORU to complete the program?
Oral Roberts University is a 4-year university. So the degree that you would study to study film at ORU, it would be a BFA on cinema, television, digital media. So it's 4 years. Unless, some people do it a little faster or some people take longer, but it's a 4-year degree.
Wonderful. And are there any notable alumni now working locally or nationally that have been through your program, which you'd like to highlight?
Yes, there is. Our degree is pretty broad because it prepares people in many different areas, but a big area is film. So several of our alumni have chosen to go to LA, and this is just in the last 7 years that I'm talking about, right? And we have somebody who has moved up in an agency. We have assistants for different, producers in LA. We have people being media directors of some of the big churches in LA. We have, of course, we have people involved in the projects here in Oklahoma as well, with Clear the Flower Moon. We have students there. We have a student in Reagan and Plan. I can only imagine all those projects. Our students are constantly being involved in all those levels. Mm-hmm.
That's wonderful. We love hearing that our local students are being able to connect with so many of the productions that are here filming in Oklahoma right now. So what would you say to students? Why should they consider pursuing further film education at ORU?
This is a degree that is a bachelor, right? It's actually a Bachelor of Fine Arts. So it's a complete degree, a full degree. You have a college degree when you're done with this. It's not it's not just the technical part you would get someplace else, which there's place for that as well. So if you want a bachelor's degree, ORU is the best because it's actually a bachelor's fine arts, and also because we have set up the degree in a way that everybody gets to do everything. And it sounds a little too general, but let me explain. So if you come to ORU and you love directing, guess what? You're gonna direct, but also you're gonna produce. You're gonna be the art director. You're gonna be the director of photography. You're gonna be a camera operator. You're gonna be the lighting person. You're gonna be the audio person. And some students are like, oh no, I just like DP. I don't wanna be producer. But the way we set up in the junior year, you get to do all those positions and you rotate. You know, we have teams of short films and you rotate. So you get to do all of them because you will be a better DP when you know what an audio person goes through, when you know what the producer needs to go through, when you know what the director goes through, with the crunch of time and all those things, you know. So you get to rotate in all those positions, you get to test them all, taste them all, and then you become a better whatever you want it to be. And some students don't really know exactly. They know they want to be in entertainment, but they don't know exactly where. And our degree allows you to taste them all and test them all. I'm having trouble with that word. But so then you can see not only what you like, but what you're good at, right? Because you will feel it from like, wow, that comes easy, or I have a knack for this, or people are telling me, wow, I love how you did this thing, you know. So with that, you can sense where you're more gifted. You know, it's a very competitive area, as we all know. So you want to not just be good, but you just want to be really good to make a living and to make an impact on this. So that's a unique thing about ORU, that you can try out a lot of different things. And when we also prepare an audio, you know, some people go on other kind of audio productions and not necessarily film, and some people go more on television. So our degree includes all that. So even if you're not clear of, well, I like film, but I also like news. Okay, well, you know, you can do the degree at ORU and navigate that route in there. And we also
That's great.
Web design, digital media, and all those kinds of things.
It sounds very well-rounded. So to clarify, it is a Bachelor of Fine Arts, and
Correct.
film is a component of that, along with news and marketing and the other things.
No, news and marketing. It's
not news. Okay.
It's cinema, so it's film,
Okay.
and it's television, and it's video production.
Okay, and that's all within the fine arts.
I'm sorry?
That's all within the fine arts degree then.
Correct, because it's called Bachelor of Fine Arts because it's not a liberal arts degree. A liberal arts degree has a lot more general education classes. The Bachelor of Fine Arts is more a pre-professional degree where you have 75 credits are in the major. So we have a lot of classes, and that's why we are able to do the broad thing, because we have a lot of classes that are in the major. So you do not take so many English classes or science classes or math classes, which is a typical Bachelor of Science or Bachelor of Arts. Ours is a Bachelor of Fine Arts, which it allows us to do 75 credits all in the major, and only like 40 credits or so, 48 credits are in general education.
That's
and another thing that is typical for ORU, that is of ORU, is, you know, we have the faith component. So it is a Christian university, and you don't have to be a Christian to be in the university, but it's a faith component also that for some people is very important, that, you know, is part of our degree in education as well.
Absolutely. I thank you so much for sharing so much about ORU's program. Is there anything else as we wrap up that you'd like people to know about the program or the school?
Sure. We're very hands-on, very hands-on. We're constantly getting involved in productions in town, as well as we bring other productions. We have done several co-productions where ORU brings in, puts in the equipment and the students and some professional work, and the production company simply brings the script and the keys of the production, and then we work together to make these films. And we have one that we one we did last December that is sending a trailer for they're seeking funding. We have another one the year before that just got a contract with a major platform that I'm still not allowed to share which one it is, but it's one of the major platforms.
Very cool.
So we're super happy that our students can get hands-on with a real thing. You know, the first few semesters or years, they do it within the school, but then we push them out to get involved with the community to get the real experience. So then it's an easy transition into when they graduate.
That's great. Wonderful. And where can people go for more information about the school, the website?
Sure, it's oru.edu. That's the main website. Sometimes it takes a while to navigate to our area, and we're in a big transition. We are actually being separated into colleges because we're growing, and we have a brand new building we're breaking ground here in a few weeks. There's going to be the Media Arts Center and all that kind of stuff. So it might be a little harder, but the best thing would be to email me directly. So my email is rbarreiro@oru.edu. I'm not sure if you can put the name down there. It's hard to spell at times. That would be the best way, because then I can get you right to the webpage where we have all the information, videos, films from the students from the past. We have a film gala that we do every year that you can attend. Obviously, it's free for the public. It's typically the Wednesday of finals. So you gotta be on with the schedule of the school to know when that is, but typically like April 28th, between April 28th and May 1st, around those days, whatever that Wednesday is in there. And that's a great place to see what the students are doing film-wise and get any other information.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing so much about ORU. Make sure to check out the website. You can also contact us and we'd be happy to email connect you as well. Appreciate you joining us today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Yousef, and hello to everyone.
Thank you. Hello, can you please introduce yourself and tell us what school or organization you're with?
Absolutely, I can. My name is Melodie Garneau. I am president of Green Pasture Studio and also Oklahoma Film and Television Academy, which I'm representing today.
Awesome. We're thrilled to have the Oklahoma Film and Television Academy, or OFTA as some say, represented today. Can you tell us about the history of OFTA and what OFTA offers students or attendees?
I certainly can. We had our first classes begin here in the end of September last year, and actually have had a wonderful time, history or participation since then. I think that we are over 350 graduates so far. And we just finished slate 10. We call each session slate. And we started, so what we teach is film crew, because as you know, as a filmmaker, we're woefully short in Oklahoma on the crew department. So we train people to be in lighting, and we start out with set ready as PA. So you know what, when you go on a film, what to do and what not to do, how to fill out the paperwork so you can get paid, all of those things. So we and then we give people the opportunity to specialize. So we've only been doing classes since September, but they have all been pretty full. And we've been very happy about that. And we get inquiries more and more all the time as the film industry grows here in Oklahoma. So that is the genesis. Richard Janes and Amy Janes and myself started the studio and the academy about the same time as each other, obviously. And so the academy or the studio gives us the opportunity to get our students all on our productions as well as others.
That's incredible. That's great. And we love that you're providing everything from the start, entry-level paperwork, to then specialized departments. It sounds very well-rounded. How long does it take to complete the program at OFTA?
So the first, we try to encourage everyone to do the podcasts we have first. So we have like 150 podcasts, which they can do for free, or they can take at the end, have a certificate. But so that's however long that takes. So it's about 15 minutes of each podcast. And it goes over every job on a set, from craft services to, the director to whomever. And then, so then the next step is set ready. So that takes place generally over 4 days, 2 weekends in a row for 8 hours, all 4 days. And that we start with everything and with paperwork, with how do you talk on the radio, and because people think they do know until someone says, hey, do this, and then they're like, I forgot what I'm supposed to say. So, and whether, should I talk to that person or sign up or whatever? So 4 days, 8 hours a day, each of those times, and we make sure that you are ready when you leave here to get on the set, and we try to get you on one right away.
That's wonderful. And you've said you've had 10 slates so far.
Correct.
So are there any notable alumni now working either locally or nationally in the film industry that you'd
Well,
like to
so
highlight?
we have folks that have been, we have about, I think it's about an 80% already placement rate. So we've had our very first slate of students, Denard was a gentleman named Denard was in that slate, and he's been on several films already with the Reagan film and the some of the the bigger national movies, as well as some independent films. Stephanie Shelton, I think she was in our second one. I'm trying to remember the numbers, but she has found a niche in the COVID testing and the COVID compliance area, which everybody needs, of course. And she has been on a whole slate of, she's doing two right now. I think some Lifetime or Hallmark movies that are coming up, a lot of independent ones there. And so we've had, as I say, success in all of these, and our instructors are people that are, Kim Mott is, does some our set ready classes, and Kim is now, she's full-time over there at Killers of the Flower Moon. So she's very busy. And so we have people placed on all kinds of, they probably, the first set of students we had and the second set in October, on average, they've been on probably 3 sets already. And we try to we follow up with all of them and get them on something, and then a second one. And after that, we figure they have either earned a good reputation or they have been bounced out.
Well, the sky's the limit. Hopefully
Yeah,
they're churning
exactly.
out and working and developing the workforce. That's great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why should someone consider pursuing education at OF+MO?
So I think unique to us is 2 things. One is we make sure we keep our classes at the right size, that's something we can manage, because after the classes, the first set of classes are done, we're looking for jobs for you. We don't guarantee that, of course. The films have to come here, and we have, to Oklahoma for us to get jobs for folks. But that, I think, is the part that's unique about us, in that we make sure to follow up. Amy heads that department along with Gabby, and we make sure to follow up with our students as often as we can. And if they have questions, they can still come back to us. And the other thing that makes us unique is after the initial set ready classes that are 4 days, that at that point, and they've worked on maybe 1 or 2 films, our students can say, I figured out I want to specialize in sound or boom or whatever it is. Then we take them to the next level. So for example, if they want to be in grip and electric or gaffers, Steve Mathis, whom teaches our next level for those classes. So when those guys go on a set, if Steve recommends them on a movie, he knows that they know what they're doing. So that's the part that makes us unique. We go to the next level specialization, and then finally, like we're starting a pilot. We're filming a pilot that we're producing here. Of course, we bring in some actors. We bring in, the heads of department are professionals from here, some not, but we use our students on that as well. So they already have a credit on their resume and for IMDb, and they have some experience on the set, so they get, stay out of trouble when they go to bigger ones and so forth. So that, I think, is the part that's unique, that we give them something they can put on their resume right from the beginning.
That's wonderful. And is there anything else in closing that you'd like to highlight about the program for audiences?
Only to say that the classes take place in our big soundstage, and they're really expertly done. And I think if you checked out our website, you will see that you get to get your hands on all this equipment, and you will get the idea of what it's like to be on a movie, what you can expect, and but still be so excited about it that you can't wait to go to the next thing. So I think that people will really, there's a job for everybody on a movie. I don't care what your experience was. If you're a truck driver or a, an actor, there's a job for you. So let's do it. Let's do
That's
that.
great. That's great. And on that note, where can people find out more information about OFTA?
So we have a website, ofta.tv, that you can go to. And of course, you can go to the greenpasturestudio.com website and it'll link you over there as well. And we'd love for you to do that and sign up for, there's a tours. We do tours of the facility as we need to. A lot of times it's on Thursday. So, sign up for that, if nothing else, and then get started on your movie career.
That's
and get
great.
to be famous like Yousef here.
Absolutely. Yes. One day you'll be Zoom famous too.
There you go. There you go.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate
Absolutely.
you sharing about OFTA, and we'll
Please
look forward
do.
to seeing you later down the line.
You bet you will. Thanks, Yousef. I appreciate it.
Likewise. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Hello, and next up, we are thrilled to be able to welcome representatives from the University of Oklahoma. Would you please introduce yourself and tell us about your role with the school?
Okay, so thank you for having me. My name is Fung, and I am an associate professor in the Department of Film and Media Studies at OU, and I'm also chair of the department.
Wonderful. Thanks so much for joining us today. We'd love to find out from you a little bit about the history of your school's program and what it offers to students. Would you mind sharing that with us?
Sure. Well, I would just say in the beginning that, courses on film and media studies, have a long history at OU and can be traced back to at least, the 70s, if not earlier. But a distinct film and media studies department did not come about until the 1990s, right? So that's when our department was first founded. And from its beginning, the department seeks to provide a broad-based academic and career-oriented program combining both critical study and production. So what that means is, our curriculum encompasses, a range of different courses, right? Courses on the history and theory of film and media, courses on different film genres and national cinemas, courses on video game and digital media culture. But we also offer production courses, in directing, editing, etc. Right? And we also give a lot of emphasis, on internship opportunities. So with all this, we strive to educate students to become both critical consumers, but also creative producers of cinema, television, and other screen images and narratives, be they fact or fiction.
That's wonderful. And how long does it take students to complete the program?
Well, typically, it takes 4 years, right, to complete a bachelor degree, right, in film and media studies. And that includes credits, for the major requirements, but also for Gen Ed requirements and some other things, right? So typically, it takes 4 years.
Wonderful. And are there any notable alumni working here locally in the film industry or nationally that you'd like to highlight from OU?
Well, we do have a long list of notable and successful alumni. And one good example is Matt Payne, who used to be, a screenwriter for big budget TV shows, for CBS and some other places. But now he's the co-founder and co-CEO of Prairie Surf Studio, as many of you know, right? Which has just recently, leased what used to be the Cost Convention Center, and turned it into a studio with, multiple sound stages. And I will also mention Amy Nicholson, right? Who is the author of several books, right, including one on Tom Cruise, right? And she was, the chief film critic for MTV News and LA Weekly, and she has also served on the jury for Sundance, other film festivals.
That's awesome.
Well, let me just, give one more example, right?
Sure, go for it.
And Stern Hajo, right, who has directed, I think by now 3 feature films, 1 feature documentary, and also with Taika Waititi, the epic comedy series, Reservation Dogs. And all of these films, are set in Oklahoma and are primarily concerned with Native American people in contact. So
you have some esteemed alumni, and the great
thank
thing
you very
too
much.
about some of them like Matt and Sterling is they're bringing back more work and more opportunities for Oklahoma film, which
Yeah,
is
that's very true, and that's very important, right? To us.
Yes. Can you tell us, I know there is a distinction between film and media studies, and then also there is another track that you mentioned. So I wanted to make sure and highlight that for people who may be watching. Could you speak a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. I mean, so our department is Film and Media Studies, right? So it is housed in the College of Arts and Sciences. But then we also have a different college, the Garneau College of Journalism and Communication, and they have a degree, in creative media production, right? So there are certain overlaps between us, right? But I think we also have a very kind of symbiotic, relationship with one another, right? In the sense that we kind of, our curriculum kind of, complements, one another. Right. For example, we have this kind of dual focus approach combining both critical study and production, right? Whereas I think CMP, right, as it is called, focuses more on production practices. And of course, many of the students, also are our minors, right? And our students, also take their, production courses, right? So I think, we do have a, very good working relationship with one another.
That's great. Why should someone consider pursuing further film education at OU?
Well, first of all, OU is great.
Yes,
yeah, and our department, I think, one important thing, is our faculty, right? The people here, right? So we have 8 core faculty, who all has, wide-ranging expertise, right? And many of whom are kind of, award-winning authors and filmmakers. And we also have, over 20 affiliate faculty, spanning multiple departments, and colleges, right? So we do offer, a range of different courses, as I mentioned, right, on, a number of different things. And, as I noted, in our department, students learn to become not only creative producers, but also, critical consumers, of mass-mediated images, and stories. And what is at stake here, I think, is the issue of a media literacy, which is an essential and indispensable civil skill in our current age, right? Where mass media dominate every aspect of life, right? From entertainment and leisure, to politics, and business. So I do think that, our department, can, offer students, right, this very important skill of, media literacy.
I agree with you 100%. Is there anything else you'd like to highlight about the film program at OU that you'd like audiences to know before we close?
Yeah. Well, I guess, one last thing that, I want to mention is that, we are very much, focused on bringing an international and culturally diverse, dimension to our teaching and research. So again, as I said, we have courses devoted to East Asian cinema, Hispanic cinema, Native American cinema, but we also have courses on gender and media, class and media and things like that, right? But we also offer production courses, right? So I guess, this shows, our commitment, to, expanding the horizon of students, right? And enriching diversity, inclusion, in the department as well as, in the university, at large.
And where can people go to find out more information about OU, the website?
Well, I mean, they can easily go to our department website, right? Just kind of, search by, film and media studies, at OU, right? They can easily, find the information there, right? And we also have huge kind of social media presence, right? We have, our own Facebook page and, Twitter page, right? And they can also follow us, there.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing a little bit more about what OU has to offer. We'll look forward to connecting with you later down the line.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Take care.
Take care. Bye.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. Thank you. I'd love for you to introduce yourself and tell us your affiliation with a school or organization.
My name is Mark Scott. I am assistant professor at the University of Central Oklahoma. We fall under the mass communication department. I'm specifically in the professional media area. So that's where I hold most of my titles in that particular area. So I'm the advisor for the documentary minor currently, and then I'm our sports media advisor as well.
Very cool, very cool. It sounds like you do a lot at that university. And how long have you been there?
This will be my 21st year, believe it or not, at the university. So.
Congratulations. Coincidentally, it's the 21st year of deadCenter Film Festival, which this will be presented as a part of too.
Well, I love to be in partnership with that as well, for sure.
Well, wonderful. Well, can you tell us a little bit about the history of UCO's program and what it currently offers to students?
Well, and that's an interesting question too, and it's a very timely question. We just have been having meetings with our film studies minor, which falls under the College of Liberal Arts, which in turn is what our mass communication department falls under as well. So we're going through a transition currently and looking to upgrade the course offerings for that particular minor. And looking to move that forward into a major as well within the next year to 2 years. So we're very excited to be having those talks right now. Traditionally, our film studies minor was mostly in theory and not as much in production, which is fine. I think it deserves both of those areas. And I think that's where the college believes that it can benefit from pairing those two together, pairing our production elements as long with our philosophical elements and film history elements as well. So we're very excited about the future of this particular program right now.
That's awesome. And so presently, what you said it falls under the umbrella of, did you say mass communication? Is that
well,
right?
It falls under the umbrella of the College of Liberal Arts.
Okay,
so
great.
All of our students who get a degree, whether that be in professional media, whether that be in film studies minor, they fall under that particular umbrella of the College of Liberal Arts. And that houses our English department, history department, humanities, foreign language, those types of areas as well.
That's great. And how long does it take to complete the program overall?
Approximately 2 years for the minor.
Okay.
But obviously that would be in conjunction with a major as well. Which it would be a 4-year degree traditionally. We try to get our students out in 4 years, depending on what their particular personal life is and what their work schedule and how many classes they can take at a particular time. But that's the time frame that we usually shoot for in that area.
Wonderful. And the major would be professional media, is that right?
Well, depending on which direction they go. It could be a number of different directions. Professional media would make probably the most sense just for the production elements required moving forward in the particular minor, but it would not necessarily have to be. It could be an English major, it could be a history major, it could be a number of different majors that fall in the College of Liberal Arts.
Paired with the film studies minor, correct?
Correct.
And as far as like, if students are interested in as much of the tangible production education as they can get, does that fall under the professional media focus?
Correct. And that's where we have our wealth of equipment, editing labs, you name it, basically, we have it in that particular area, which that is in mass communication, our Department of Mass Communication, which once again falls under that umbrella of the College of Liberal Arts.
That's awesome. That's great. I'd love to hear what you're currently offering, as well as the idea that you may be expanding that more in the next year, particularly on the film side, which I think is a testament to our state's industry and how much it is growing and the added focus on that. But as far as the programs you have right now, are there any notable alumni that you'd like to highlight that have maybe gone through that school?
Specifically, yes. Dusty Saunders is one of our kind of superstars in that particular area. He graduated in 2012/2013. He's in Los Angeles currently working on a number of feature films, as well as a number of films and features for Netflix, BET, a number of organizations like that. But as of right now, he would be one of the shining stars. Kara Freeman is another producer who graduated a couple of years before that, 2010, 2011. Her film credits kind of fall under more of a television type of background, but a reality kind of documentary type. She's been producing For Deadliest Catch and Ice Road Truckers for a number of years, won a couple of Emmys, which we like to kind of promote within that particular area as well. So we have a number of other individuals at various levels in the film industry, but those would be two fairly recent graduates that have done very well in the film industry, specifically in Los Angeles.
Very cool. So for the young audiences tuning in today, why should someone consider pursuing further film education at UCO specifically?
Well, for me, and as we mentioned before our interview started, I'm just super excited right now to be pretty much on the ground floor of this. We've offered classes in the past. We've offered a documentary minor in the past, but the film studies minor, incorporating these production elements into it, I think is very exciting right now. And being able to move forward in a positive direction and be kind of, like I said, on the ground floor of this, I think would be very exciting for any student looking to be in the film industry. I mentioned those two particular graduates, but we have a number of interns currently in the film industry. And as you mentioned, as the film industry grows in Oklahoma, which I think we're all excited about, with Prairie Surf and with the Film Education Institute of Oklahoma, who I've done a couple of workshops with as well. Just having those kinds of partnerships, and for those particular organizations willing to help our students, willing to find production jobs for them, willing to find internships for them, I think is an extremely exciting time right now. And once again, you know, for shameless plug for UCO, obviously I've been there for 21 years. I wouldn't be there if I wasn't wholeheartedly invested in the university and in their purpose. So I think it's a very exciting time for them to be at the University of Central Oklahoma for sure.
That's awesome. And as a fellow alum, I support that message as well. Is there anything else you'd like to highlight about what UCO offers before we close out today?
Well, like, again, I would just like to say that it's an exciting time to be a part of it, because we're making changes right now to involve so many of those production elements into that particular minor. And as I said at the beginning of the interview, making that a major within the next 2 years as well. So I'm excited. I think a lot of people in Oklahoma obviously are excited, and I think students should be excited about coming to the University of Central Oklahoma as well.
And where can people find more information about the school?
UCO.edu. So that will give you a wealth of information there, and then you can look up the individual colleges and departments as well. Kind of a shameless plug for our department under mass communication, U Central Media, that's with the U, the letter U, centralmedia.com. You can also find information about our specific department. We have examples of student work in that particular website as well. And you can find any my contact information, any other faculty contact information as well.
Well, perfect. Well, we love learning more about what UCO has to offer and connecting with you. Thank you for being a part of our presentation today for deadCenter.
No, thank you so much, Yousef. I appreciate it. Appreciate the time.
And please keep us posted moving forward about the future developments of film. We're very excited.
All right. Thanks again. Go Broncos.
Yes. Hello, how are you?
Hi, Yousef. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. Could you please tell the audience today who they're speaking with and what school or organization you're affiliated with?
My name is Jeff Van Hanken, and I am the Wellspring Associate Professor of Film Studies at the University of Tulsa.
Awesome. Thank you so much for making time to speak with us today.
Absolutely. It's fun. I appreciate the opportunity.
Wonderful. Well, Could you please tell us a little bit about the history of the University of Tulsa's film program and what it currently offers students?
The film program began when I was hired in 2007. The board gave approval for the first new department in the College of Arts and Sciences in almost 40 years.
Wow.
And it really, yeah, it grew out of the brain of a beloved colleague, Dr. Joseph Kessner, who has since passed away, but he was an English scholar for many, many years, loved movies, loved film, loved horror films, loved film noir, genre films. And it was his idea to build a department just for film. And I was brought in from the University of Oklahoma, largely to boost the offerings in terms of production and writing and some of the more skilled positions that are required in terms of filmmaking.
Wonderful. And so at the University of Tulsa, as far as the program's concerned, what's currently being offered in terms of, tangible? Are they getting their hands on equipment? Are they production versus like studies? Can you describe a little bit more about that?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. I'm glad you asked me. We primarily focus on storytelling and storytelling in all its forms, but we recognize that fundamentally a student needs to know how to tell a story, what the techniques and elements are that apply to that. Most of those techniques and elements are 2,400 years old because Aristotle set them out that long ago, and they primarily still apply. So we know that there's something there that works, and it has worked for a very long time. So it's our priority that each student really understands storytelling. In addition to that, we really want them to be able to tell stories visually. And that means that I'm going to do a little film professor here, right? But there was an early Russian filmmaker named Kuleshov, Lev Kuleshov, and he did this extraordinary experiment where he cut shots together of a close-up of a man, and then he spliced it together with, first of all, a shot of a bowl of soup. And then he showed that to an audience and asked them, what do you think the man is thinking? And of course, most people concluded, well, he's hungry. And then he removed the bowl of soup and he replaced it with a shot of a baby in a coffin. And what do you think the man's thinking now? Well, he's sad. Well, what's really important here and what we try to import to our students and really runs throughout all of our classes in film, but also in the creative writing program and other associated departments, is using the images to tell the story and allowing the audience to work to understand the story. So the key here is that the close-up of the man is exactly the same close-up. He's not acting hungry and then acting sad, but it's the combination of those two images together that suddenly produces these ideas for us. And if we can get our students to think in those terms, then we think we've moved them a long way down the road, not toward just becoming a great filmmaker or a great writer, but just able to think in visual terms, which applies to many, many, many fields, many areas.
That's awesome. I love you sharing that with me too. I hadn't heard that, so that's awesome. How long does it take to complete the program at the University of Tulsa?
So we are 33 hours total for our major, and most majors in the Department of Arts and Sciences at the University of Tulsa are in that neighborhood. So we really encourage our students to double major. And even more so, I ask all of our students to try to take one or two classes in the business college, perhaps even minoring in the business college. So I've had many students who have gotten a certificate in entrepreneurial studies. And that's through years of talking to other people in the industry. And whether a student wants to act or direct or edit, having a firm understanding in business is really helpful. I say to people all the time that artists are the hardest working entrepreneurs I know. We think of artists like, oh, well, they're out to lunch and they're in a different planet. But the truth is, all artists are entrepreneurs, and because they have to be, really, there's no other choice. So we really want our students to have a grounding in business. And we feel like they can do that here while getting the degree in film.
Absolutely. Business is such a big piece of film production. I mean, we're talking about it on other panels too about, once you make a film, then what happens? How do you get it out to audiences? How do you sell it? So that is the back end is sometimes the least glamorous part, but the necessary part if you're trying to build a sustainable career, I'd say.
Well, and yeah, you've moved somewhere where I like to talk about a lot, which is distribution. And distribution is a creative part of the industry and an essential part of the industry. And I always suggest to students at least look at it, because if you're somebody who has taste and you understand audiences' taste, distribution can be maybe a slightly less stressful, but just as rewarding, creatively rewarding into the industry.
100%. And so with a program that's now, did you say 20 years, was it?
Well, 2007, that's
okay.
yeah, let's say 20. Why not?
Okay.
Yeah.
Almost 20 years old.
Yep.
I'm sure you've seen a lot of students come through. And are there any notable alumni that are now working either nationally or here locally that you might like to highlight that have come through your school and program?
Well, I'm gonna cheat a little bit here, because we have this alumni of the University of Tulsa named Mark Radcliffe, who's made a couple movies, Harry Potter and Night at the Museum and
I think I've heard of those.
Yeah. So, but I'm cheating a little bit because he graduated from TU in the 70s, so it was before our film program. What I'm really excited about and what I want to say is that we have students who work in many areas of the industry. So as editors in cinematography, we have one student, Claire Edwards, who was just accepted into the DGA's Assistant Director Training Program, which is incredibly competitive. And she got into the program right before the pandemic. So it's kind of just now starting up again, but she's getting to work on, all these big network shows, and it's really fun, and who knows where that will take her. And we have people who are working as production coordinators. One was working on Killers of the Flower Moon before it shut down. And so they're working all across the industry. But what I really try to emphasize for students coming here is that we think that studying film here at the University of Tulsa sets a student up for a variety of different careers. So it may be entertainment, it may be film, video, gaming, but we have one student, spectacular student, who just recently finished her law degree at University of Southern California and is now working as a lawyer. Because film, and I know you know this, because film requires so much resource management, product management, is an ideal world to go into for somebody who's coming out with a film degree. Now, it might not sound, like sexy. It might not sound like, well, I'm going to the Oscars, but there's that opportunity there. And I always try to make sure that students understand what they're doing, because sometimes they're acquiring skills and they're not really even aware of it. But right. Managing resources and very limited resources, working with friends, working with people in the community, trying to create schedules when so many people are being pulled in so many different directions, those types of skills apply across many, many industries. So again, it's storytelling first, it's visual storytelling first, but all those different skills that are required in the execution of those stories have application to many, many different arenas.
Yeah, 100%. I think a lot of times by default, many people think of filmmaking as the person holding the camera, but there's so much more than the equipment and the electric and all of this, and so many skill sets go into it, like you're saying. That's right. So you're absolutely right. And I think that's some of the messaging of what we're trying to showcase is it takes hundreds of people to make a movie across all departments, across all skill sets. So well-rounded programs like yours that offer a taste of not just practical and creative, but business side can really help identify, I think, students' strengths and where they can, might open them up to even more possibilities of where they can fit in on the film side of things, for sure.
Well, and it's, you also want to teach people for the jobs that are further down the road, like 10 years from now, 20 years from now, not necessarily the job of today, although of course we want our students to have jobs of today. But yeah, that, mastering some of those skill sets that are adaptable to changing infrastructure, changing industries, that's really, really key. And we all, need that kind of flexibility and that kind of creativity when, we're out here trying to work, right?
For sure, for sure. So why should someone consider further education at the University of Tulsa in the film program?
Further than high school?
No, yes, yeah. Why? What would be the selling point, in your opinion, of why someone should choose the University of Tulsa?
That's a really good question, and we are a different institution than other institutions, and I can say that having worked at several large universities, fantastic universities, incredible traditions, but they are quite different. And the University of Tulsa, not only is every student known by me and other faculty in the film department, but they are known by our colleagues in, for example, creative writing, history, political science, English, psychology. There's almost no student, who I don't have a conversation about with another faculty member at some point in their career. And that can be really, really valuable. It's not for everyone. If you're, more inclined to go to an institution where you kind of want to just move through, or you don't want to be, noticed necessarily, it may not be right. But for the right kind of student, and I actually think most students are the right kind of student, it's pretty remarkable, because I can talk to another faculty member and figure out, are there strategies that I'm not using? If I feel like I'm not reaching a student, are there strategies that they are using that are working? Are there areas, are there gaps that we feel like, I and the other faculty member are not covering? Is there an area where we feel like we should be emphasizing? I think that's really, really valuable and really, really helpful to any student.
To have that kind of support, for sure, 100%. That's awesome. Well, as we close our session, is there anything else you'd like to highlight about the University of Tulsa before we say goodbye?
I would just say that this is a really hands-on place, and really special for that reason. I would say that my colleagues are among the most dedicated teachers, and teaching first. We're a university where research and creative output for faculty is also very important. However, I would say to a person, teaching is their priority. They're serious about it, and they're dedicated, and they're passionate, and they want students to learn.
That's awesome. Well, I'm so glad to have gotten to connect with you today. Thank you for sharing more about the University of Tulsa for our audiences. And where can people find out more information about the program?
Well, they can go to the website utulsa.edu, and then you'll navigate your way to the Film Studies department, or they can just email me.
Okay, perfect, perfect.
Yeah, thank you,
Well,
Yousef.
yeah, thank you. Appreciate
fun.
connecting with you.
Yep. Bye.
Bye-bye. Hello, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Wonderful. Thanks for asking. Would you mind introducing yourself to everyone and what organization or school you're affiliated with?
Sure. I'm Cori Gray, and I'm the Deputy State Director with the Oklahoma Department of Career and Technology Education. So basically, CareerTech.
Awesome, awesome. That's wonderful. And so you represent all of the career technical focused schools here across the state of Oklahoma. Is that
Correct.
right?
Yes,
Wonderful.
there are 29 campuses, 59 actual sites that are tech centers, but we're also in 399 K-12 school districts across the state.
Wow, I didn't know that. That's incredible.
Mhm.
You guys have an amazing presence here throughout.
Yes, and we want to reach out and serve. So basically, our goal is to improve the Oklahoma economy by providing individuals with training and skills, whatever's necessary for them to be successful in the workplace.
That's great. And I know, film has been, for us anyway, we've seen film become kind of a rising industry in Oklahoma, and a big need for that is workforce development. When I started at the film office 10 years ago, we had about 5 or 6 films per year use the program, and now we're at 34 or more, and we're needing a workforce to really sustain the productions that come in. And so our conversation today is really focused on opportunities that exist to join the film workforce. And I know there's a lot going on in the tech schools across Oklahoma focused on film development. Can you highlight some of what's happening in the tech schools related to that?
No problem. As I mentioned, we are all across the state. So whether you're north, south, east, or west, there's a technology center there to help serve that community. And we like the ability to pivot on a dime. So whatever industry needs, we can meet that need. So within our technology centers, we have short-term programs. So if you have someone who's an electrician and they're interested in learning about work within film and how to be an electrician on set, we're working on a program to have them add that to their certification. So they won't need to be in school for 1,050 hours. They can do a short-term program and be ready to go. They'll learn set etiquette and they'll learn how to take their current knowledge and transition that to working on a film set. We have long-term programs. For example, there's a program at Daniel Webster High School in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where they took one of their old gyms and converted it to a production studio. And they can do full production, and they've done some things with the city of Tulsa as far as not only the cinematography, but the editing and the film and the post-production work. So we have the ability to touch everyone from the secondary student to the adult who's already in the workforce.
That's incredible. And I think, what a lot of people maybe don't realize on first perception of the film industry is it's not about the actors or necessarily the person holding the camera. It takes a village, hundreds of people to make one single movie. And we're talking about real tangible jobs, electricians, seamstresses, costumers, construction, carpentry, you name it, there's probably a place for it in film. And I really appreciated and loved what you said about being able to pivot, because we've seen and observed and worked with you, like during COVID, you all were authoring set medic COVID training classes specifically for film. So the ability to kind of plug in and immediately meet some of the local needs here has been a really big, I'd say, blessing to continuing the growth of the workforce for sure.
Right. And that's what I'd like for people to understand, that we have multiple program areas with various on-ramps and off-ramps. We want people to be able to go to work. If they want to continue their education, great. If they want to go directly on film, onto the set, great. But all of our program areas that we're known for everything from ag education, where we're looking at people who can do those locations, they can work the fields and do things of that nature and do set design and welding. Our business marketing and IT, we have programs in cinematography, editing, accounting. People don't think about film and accounting, but there's a need there. Audio recording, mixing, marketing and distribution. Even with our family and consumer science, craft services, and those teachers who need to be on set for the children. You mentioned the medics, so of course our health programs. Within our STEM programs, like STEM and film, yes, there's lots of post-production work, set design using CAD, things of that nature, where you can actually get into the graphics and the detailed side of that. And then we have our traditional trade and industrial education programs. And those are our skilled trades, where you have people who are in construction, cosmetology, learning to do set makeup and special effects. You have those people who are in lighting and electrical, the grips and riggings and all of that good stuff. One thing that they have in trade and industrial education is CDL training. We need those truck drivers to move these sets from point A to point B. So whatever program area you are in within CareerTech, there's a place in film for you. And we are truly thinking outside of the box on how we can make sure Oklahoma is at the forefront of film production, because we're no longer a secret. There are companies coming in wanting to film. So we're excited and we want to be a part of that.
Well, we value everything you guys do. And I know I've seen, and maybe you can highlight, a lot of the tech schools have been able to form some relationships with some of the local production companies, even like putting some of their students to work, or even hosting some film production at several of your tech centers. Can you
Right.
highlight some of those partnerships?
Sure. Well, recently we signed a memorandum of understanding with FEIO, and we're working on making sure that the curriculum that we're running, teaching, and a person who's endorsed through the Oklahoma Department of CareerTech has what the film partners need. And so some of the things that we've done, one piece that I'd like to highlight, just last night, there was a red carpet film festival at Moore Norman Technology Center. And it is a fully realized process for Oklahoma film students. And it was at the Winchester Drive-In Theater. And within this film production, this film festival, sorry, I couldn't get the word
No,
out.
you're
Within
good.
this film festival, it was amazing because they used people here in Oklahoma to create a collaborative film and art production. So they had casting by Freihoffer Casting. They had movie scores by AMC and UCO, the Academy of Contemporary Music at the University of Central Oklahoma. They had the industry judges and advisory members from deadCenter Film Festival and Boiling Point Media. And it was an amazing production where the students were putting together everything from beginning to end. Anything that you needed to have happen within a film, these students actually did it. And it's pretty exciting to see that process and the collaboration between not only the technology centers, but our industry partners, as well as our university friends. So
Absolutely.
yeah, that's one example. Another example is we have people currently working on sets. And I reached out to one school. I'm like, hey, tell me what's happening with film in your area. And just because Moore Norman did the Red Center Film Festival yesterday, I said, well, what's happening with some of your alumni? And so they have people who are located here in Oklahoma, as well as people who are working out of state and some who are working internationally in everything from costume design to set production to cameras to props. We have several producers, and we're really excited about the idea that many of them have chosen to stay here in Oklahoma.
That's what we'd love to see, is keeping the workforce here, and then a lot of them creating new work opportunities here if they stay here.
Exactly. So as I'm looking at some of these productions, you know, they've worked on everything from Lifetime, Netflix, Lionsgate, PureFlix, lots of Lifetime. I didn't realize how many Lifetime
We
movies.
got a
were
lot
in
of
Oklahoma.
Lifetime happening. Yes, that's for sure.
So we have partnerships that are taking place. Recently, Meridian Technology Center, right here in Stillwater, Oklahoma, where I'm housed, received a $100,000 grant from the Office of Workforce Development. And the grant is going to plan and launch their training programs to build local film and television industry workforce at Meridian Technology Center's South Division campus. Their South Division is in Guthrie. We know many movies have been filmed in Guthrie over the years. So we want to make sure wherever the production workforce is needed, that we will be able to fill that pipeline.
That's amazing. You guys are help supplementing growth in so many needed areas. Why should someone consider a career in film, specifically studying at a CareerTech school?
Well, I like the idea of the concept of multiple on-ramps and off-ramps. We get the students the skills and the certifications that they need, and then they're able to transition to work. If they choose to, we have some partners who are good with just that entry-level work, and that's where they want to be, and that's what they want to do, and that is great. We have some students who opt to go on to the university setting and obtain a bachelor's degree. So we are a platform for them to get that hands-on experience, truly workforce design. I like to say we are in the workforce and economic development industry, and education is the tool that we use to get us there. So we want to make sure we're providing the training. And one opportunity that I'd like to focus on, because we are focused on work-based learning, our students have the opportunity to put what they use in the classroom to work. There's a direct correlation between the hands-on training in class and the hands-on activities that they'll be doing on the at the work site. So that's one of
great.
our benefits. Another benefit is for high school students. If you live within a Career Technology Center district, within one of the districts, one of our 29 districts, you have the opportunity to attend your local technology center for free. You're sitting in
Wow.
class with adults who have to pay tuition to be there. So you're getting the same quality education, the same certification or licensure, but you're taking the class for free. So
What an incredible opportunity.
yeah, lots of opportunities, lots of opportunities. And we have so many friends who have supported us over the years, or people who, you know, have been their former CareerTech students. Some familiar names, like right now, Cesar Garneau, he's working as an electrician on the set in Alaska. He's out there
Oh,
working
wow.
right now. Corey Martin, he was in FCCLA. He is now with IAS. I got to get this right because I got to get the union right.
IATSE.
IATSE, very good.
Mhm.
He is a member of their union, and he's worked in 11 states and 22 countries. And now he's working on a film with Amazon. So
That's incredible.
taking those things that we have in place and putting them on the workforce. We also have lots of champions, people who believe in career tech. Some of our friends and former career tech students include Ree Drummond, Carrie Underwood, Corey Kent White, Garth Brooks, and Reba McEntire. So
I've heard a few of those names,
yes,
I think.
yes. So we
Friends
are
in
career
high
tech.
places, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
Career tech can get you there.
That's
Because you
great.
not only learn the hands-on component with our career tech student organizations, which are very popular and embedded within the programs, you learn the leadership skills, you learn the entrepreneurial skills, you learn how to speak in front of people, and you learn how to be a good worker. And so it's those soft skills that industry is clamoring for. We teach them in class. So.
That's great. And where can people find out more information about the career programs associated with your organization?
Sure. They can look for their local career tech center within their county or within their region. They can also go to our website, which is okcareertech.org, and that will have a listing of all of the career tech programs. We're on social media, so you can look for those. We have tags down at the bottom of our website, and you can link directly to those as well.
Wonderful. And is there anything else you'd like to highlight about what Career Tech offers students?
Well, we are just excited for the opportunity. We're looking forward to the growth in film. We're an active participant. So regardless of your interest area, we have a program for you.
That's wonderful. Something for everyone at Career Tech, right?
Exactly.
Well, thank you, Cori, so much for making time to join us today and highlighting everything Career Tech in Oklahoma offers students. We really, really appreciate it and look forward to connecting with you again later down the road.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to share what we have to offer.
Awesome. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.